Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Lordnod sitting at a beautiful, beautiful place just in front of the Players Lounge at the International Tree. With me is probably one of the most famous guys in gaming in Dota 2 on the planet. This is the big guy. This is the big kahuna. This is the guy that everyone on floor goes and looks up to. Sometimes shy. Nah, he's never shy.
Stop it, stop it, stop it.
So now, this guy, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even going to say his name. You all know who he is.
Hi, man.
Hi, man. Welcome to the show. Thank you for doing this.
Of course, gonna do it. Let's go.
Let's go. Cool. First question. How is Team Navi doing?
We're doing okay. Had our ups and downs in the year, but overall, we're polishing our problems.
And straight off the bat, where are you going with this?
What do you mean?
Well, Navi next year. You know what? Most of the teams we've talked to this year, they've said, you know, the international kind of is a cycle. It's something that kind of ends the year.
Yes.
So a lot of them don't know whether they're going to be together next year, where they're going to go from there. What's Navi's plan?
We don't really know yet. Nobody knows how the cycle will go, because in order for the cycle to, you know, begin, you need to know what's going to happen with your head after the international. Nobody knows what's going to happen in anyone's head right now. Of course, the winners will most likely stay together. Not necessarily. It doesn't have to happen. Because first year it didn't happen. Second year, yes, it happened. The IG stick together. But I think they had longer plans than like this guy, Chuan guy. Hey, Chuan. Hey, tell me who you wanted to kick after the second international.
Who you think?
I know. I
I
know.
know. Just say the name.
I don't say it. See, there are things that they wanted to change the team, and they didn't change it, of course, but they wanted to. They wanted to progress in different ways of showing power, maybe of kicking some player or something like that. That everybody would shape up and understand that this is not your place if you don't practice, if you don't do things that you must take it as a community. If people in the community are like half of it is not working, then the other half don't matter. So everybody must work together in order to win. But if some people start doing stuff in their head and thinking other things or being inappropriate to other teammates, then of course things are going to change. And they might even change in the best team, the one that won the international. It might even change in them. So in order to me to know what Navi's going to do, I just need to know what happens after the international.
So this one's a little tougher, and you can go either way with this, but how do you stay so mature in front of so much attention? You Puppey.
I'm mature. Wait a second.
Come on, dude. And I'll tell you what. Okay. So,
Alright.
You know, I've seen you for the last 2 days here, and I've seen you for a couple of other tournaments. You do have one of the best attitudes, and this I can zip it out if you don't want me to but
No, I'm fine. No worries.
yeah, you will smile. You will stand in line and people will get 500 to 1,000 people will stand in line. And the kind of adulation that comes to such young people, it's very tough to do. There's a lot of people who let it go to their head. How do you keep yourself grounded?
Well, I am grounded. I don't know how it happened. I don't know. I'm gonna possibly just tell that my parents were really good people, and I grew up in a very nice way. They taught me a lot of things. Did a lot of mistakes, but they let me do it, like all the parent shit. Just not the biggest mistakes. They gotta be there for the right time. But they taught me some things that I didn't understand. It's naturally probably coming to me through years of when I start getting to like the age of 23 right now, and 24, 25. After years and years, I start doing something that I didn't necessarily plan myself. It just starts happening. And I think it's their work. I can't really put it on myself, because I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm making every other person smile, or I don't know why I'm like wanting to entertain people. Entertain, of course, is connected to the point that I like to sing a lot. When I was younger, I was in my theater of the city for at least 50 times, playing saxophone or singing in a choir, or doing other things with singing, or just putting the piano in the right thing for somebody else, or, you know. So necessarily don't know why do I like to see people happy, but I do.
You are truly phenomenal. Anyways, music, you actually love music in your life.
Yeah, yeah, very much.
Is that still one of your big loves in life?
Yeah, I definitely want to do something with it after Dota, maybe during the time of Dota, but probably not when I'm a professional player because I will have to do something solo if I ever want to do something in music right now, but I don't enjoy solo life at all. I enjoy having company. This is pretty much like Dota. I started playing Warcraft 3. I could have probably started to become some kind of a Warcraft 3 player, but I just enjoyed Dota much more. I enjoyed that I had to have 4 people on my team that I had to at least combine things with to get to our goal. This All-Star match, which we played, it's with people that I never played before. Let me see. Ake I've played with in in-house leagues. All the Europeans know each other at some point. I played with them like 7 years ago. So of course we all know each other. So the Chinese, I think I played with Burning sometimes, but never probably Ferrari. And Bushi was pretty much the first time. But the fact is, even if we're all different teams and stuff like that, we just played together. And the enemy was the same. Like they didn't even care. You know, we're just gonna go to our goal and we're gonna do it together. And that's what all these people have in common. They're gonna do it together. And pretty much the same thing with music. I'm gonna probably stay at home and play and become better at guitar than I am right now. But I'm gonna have to do it with people also. I can't do it alone. I don't want to.
Is that similar to? Is that because that's why you are someone like a support? You do like working get things together. It's just
I didn't necessarily start as a support player. No. Yeah, but it's just easier for me to help others when I'm supporting. Necessarily, that's pretty much what it means. Right? Support. Yeah, it doesn't have to mean anything. To play a support role is very hard. It's harder than carry sometimes. So you can't put a pointer on that. You're a support. It's just called support. If it would be like the game changer, let's say like that, if they would have called all supports game changers, then you know you're playing the game changer role. You're pretty big, right? Yeah, not really. It's just a word. It doesn't mean anything. A player is a player. Oh, you need 5 people to win this game, and everybody must play their role perfectly if you want to execute everything perfectly.
so talking about this perfect word where you actually go and execute one of the best, and you do execute pretty well. Do you guys? How long? And I want to talk about professionalism here and really find out what is professionalism. So how long do you guys play every day? How do you get that attitude that you want to go and say like job?
Realistic professionalism is if you take everything into dedication. You can play as much as you want, but if you don't do it with dedication, you're not going to have anything. It's like it's one of the dudes interview that I watched, a band called Pantera. Their lead singer Phil Anselmo had an interview about drugs, about heroin, I think, and you know, there's 2 things. I don't remember how it went, but I know, like you mentioned, the best things that what is willpower. Like if you were a heroin addict or something like that, that's very sad. You're gonna have to do some real things. No person gets really out of it. But the idea of him was that you need willpower, and he didn't say willpower. He just said will. You just need will, and he said it like you can have a ladder, and your ladder will just be a ladder. You know, it will show you some light or something like that. But if you put a ladder into a wheel, you get a lighthouse. And a lighthouse will always get you safely to wherever you want to go safely. So
This guy's not 20. I swear to God, this guy's not. You're nowhere. You are a unique human being.
The reason why I like it, I took that advice because I don't necessarily think about it at all. I think about it only when somebody asks me a question about it, but I think it's engraved in me already. So when it's very nice to listen to things like this said, because I don't read about philosophies and that because I couldn't take it because it's just too much gibberish sometimes. So instead of that, I just find some person that really says something true, even though he's just a heroin addict at some point. And this man will tell me much more than some kind of dude that's just sitting in his basement always philosophizing about stuff. So, dedication, professionalism. You can play as much games as you want, but if you're not going to think about it, if you're not going to put will into it, you're just going to be playing. And there's a lot of people here that play. I play, everybody plays. And lots of people that play Dota that aren't professional play more games than I do. I've seen people, many thousands of people that have 3 times more games than I have in playing Dota. He plays the game 3 times more than I do. What does it have to do with anything connected to professionalism? Nothing. You gotta take it to the next level. You gotta start taking it to the next level. You can just play; nothing's gonna change about that. But only your mind can start playing correctly. If you're gonna progress, you're gonna have to do it with your head, not through playing.
No. So if you guys actually listen to any of that, and I hope you did, he has said some pearls of wisdom here. You have to be dedicated. You have to go ahead and put it into your head. Just playing is not good enough anymore. And if you actually go ahead and progress, and this is the best person in the best team in the world, right? So guys, you have to go ahead and put in that dedication.
I can give you an example, to be honest. I like to always say Clement Bulldog for my examples because he's a dude who came out of nowhere and started demolishing the scene. The way that he plays is that, you know, regular people wake up, some professionals, they wake up, they play the game, they stream, they earn some money. Admiral Bulldog just wakes up, meets up with a professional player, maybe from his team, maybe not, and just says, we're going to play this lineup like 10 times. Like, he's going to play Lordnod against Bounty Hunter 10 times. He's going to know everything what to do in this Bounty Hunter. He's going to know everything. Of course, after 10 games, you can already paint a picture. And every time this man who's playing against him will know that he will have to someday play Bounty Hunter against Lordnod. So he will also think about this thing the same way. That's dedication. That's not you playing the pub where you're going to pick Lordnod and going to play against some idiot that's not going to, because he's playing the first time and he won't play against you the next game and he's not going to have the same lineup. But after doing it like many times, you'll perfect your knowledge about what you got to do against this guy. And that's pretty much it. If you start your day with that, you're already going to have a clear mind. And then you're going to put it to your test maybe in an official match.
There you go again, pearls of wisdom. It's about muscle memory, it's about going and knowing exactly through roads because you practice it so many times.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, it is muscle memory, right? So you know exactly when someone's going to do this is what I got to react and you're opinion about it.
Yeah. Well, it's also about knowledge. There are maybe some 3 ways that the lane can go, and you know the 3 steps. Everything in Dota can change. And if you know to what it can change, it's also very important because it cannot be always muscle memory. If for you already knowing that how it can change is already a nice thing to know about because that's information that you can use beforehand.
So this is what I hear right now is this is far beyond what the normal guys would play in the pub, right? So
no, not really. I think necessarily is my favorite word right now. It's not necessarily the factor that a pub player doesn't know it. I think we all have an idea in our heads that we think what's going to go, but we only think it. That's the only difference. We think that it can go this way, but we don't really know it. We don't really know what to do. We just expect that this will happen, and I think that will work. See, thinking that will work is fine. It works a lot in Dota. That's the first thing you should learn about it. You need to think what you're going to do after. not when the time is right now, because you're going to lose your mind and you're going to have to make many thoughts at the same time and tell your teammates what's happening and place a word or something like that. You already need to know beforehand, so you have to think about what's going to happen. But if you know about it, then you don't need to think about it. You don't need to think about it. You're gonna play awesome on your lane because you know everything already. So you don't bother yourself with thinking.
Again, wow. Like, if you guys actually just, I'm personally shocked and in awe right now. The way you have to go ahead and do this is you really want all of you guys who keep on writing to us to go ahead and say, hey, Akshat, Lordnod, I want to go ahead and get into a professional team. We want to get into the game house. We want to go ahead and do this. This is what we're talking about. Guys, I think it is important. If you've not heard this, go ahead and rewind the video and hear it maybe one more time. Because this is deep, but this is wow. It is deep. I'm not going to say necessary. What's the word you would use?
Necessary? It's not necessarily deep, but it's deep.
It's deep. Okay. Next question. This is more about you being one of those guys who are in the male team, which is Navi. Have you guys ever thought of going and having women?
You know what women are in a game like Dota? They are right now just people that you can market.
Okay.
So, not saying it's a bad thing or anything. I think women are marketed in everywhere, so you can't do anything about it. It's nice that they're playing the game. I hope the best for them. They need to get a lot better to beat the male teams, and you know, I really don't have anything to say because to me they're just other people that just play not that good because they're taking recognition of the female part.
Yeah.
So you know, they're just regular players to me.
I hear you. I absolutely hear you. I think this is just about marketing, and if it's about respect, I think they need to earn respect in terms of their play to get in there.
No, it's fine that they're females and have a team. You know, I hope them the best that they can get to a big position because I think everywhere almost is a female sport, not a female sport, but a female version of the sport, the tournament, and the male version. So there's always that kind of a thing, and I think it's very normal.
But do you think skill sets, just like finger movement, action, swimming, and ability to think, translate across genders?
I've played with a lot of girls. I don't think there's much difference between a man and a woman in playing a game or anything. There are some things that, you know, go in a stupid way because women are playing with you, but nothing necessarily connected to the game itself, just connected to how men and women talk, or how it just goes between them.
Okay, fair enough. That's actually phenomenal, which is kind of what I did not expect. Good answer. Another section which we will go talk about. This one's more around. You know, you travel across the world. The first time we actually met was at ESWC. The competition is not great at ESWC, and I think you can make it very clear last time that, you know, they can keep calling you and you can keep giving that money as well. But so in terms of the Asian style, European style, which is kind of yours, now American and wherever it goes, African tomorrow, do you see certain styles translating? Is there a style that's like, hey, that's an Asian style, or hey, that's a European style, or hey, that's not American style? Like, would you ever have a, what's it, 1998 game or something?
I don't know. I'm thinking if we had a long game, we've had long games. Don't worry, we had 2 Rakers on our gyrocopter and stuff. Maybe we are making it just faster and we're more impatient and we're gonna go do things, you know, overall faster. It has nothing to do with China or Europe. It has, of course, there are some kind of personalities that maybe conflict by the way that the game goes 30 minutes longer. But a 60-minute game is pretty much the same as a 90-minute game. There's nothing different. So anyway, what was your question? Chinese.
So is there an Asian style which you can say, like, normally when I play against an Asian team, I will see an Asian style. I can't recognize it right now. It's just about what you were saying. when you play these, a bounty hunter from Asia versus a bounty hunter from, say, Europe versus...
No difference. There are some differences. There are some differences in picks. There's, of course, a difference in playstyle. But in the end of the day, you'll see that everything is connected somehow. You'll see everything combined in the international. So whatever differences you had,
Fair enough again. I think we do go ahead and see all these world teams come together and we go ahead and find out what's different. And you guys have been seeing some of these phenomenal matches that have been going on. Any particular picks except your games? Have you enjoyed certain games at certain playstyles?
Let me think. The LGD play today, nothing special there. Alchemist.
You like the base race in the morning?
Base race? It didn't have to be a base race. It just, you know, they were ahead anyway. Alliance were ahead anyway. Think about it. If they would have bought back and killed the Alchemist and right in front of their base, the game would have been over also. They just knew that they were going to base race faster. That's why it happened. But, yeah, let me think. Fnatic, our games were also pretty intense. No game doesn't really bamboozle me, so... I mean, I like the game. I like the 95-minute game, 97-minute game that DK had against IG. I think it was very nice to see ROTK lost with black holes and he had like 100 HP in one black hole and stuff. It was very nice to see. I'm always rooting for that guy because every time he black holes, he's going to do like this. No. Yeah, exactly like that.
There you go. Appropriate, right?
Yeah, so, you know, it's very fun because he's a very emotional player. So, you know, I'm very happy for that he's here.
Well, let's talk about that emotion part which is there. You know, you come off as a very brainy guy who goes and looks at it. Is there a place for all this marketing and all this emotion and all this outpouring of happiness, joy, anger that kind of comes in? Do you think that's part of the game? That's kind of essential in this?
Yeah, of course. If you wouldn't have it, you wouldn't have psychology in the game. And this game is very psychological. I've noted, I've thought about it for a long time with which game is the hardest to play, which game is the hardest overall in gaming right now. And I thought about it really for a long time, a year ago, and I think I'm gonna just say Dota's the hardest. And I'll prove my point by this, that I'm gonna put my top 3 right now. I thought StarCraft was ahead, but after some years, I seem to notice that there's ways, there's things in Dota 2 that there are not in StarCraft. So Dota has evolved much more into something much more harder. So, of course StarCraft has been for a long time and Dota hasn't, so years difference is huge. Maybe StarCraft was harder. Okay, but I'm gonna just say Dota 2 hardest, Dota overall. Then I'm going to put StarCraft, and then I'm going to put Counter-Strike. So StarCraft 2 and Counter-Strike Go. And I'm going to just say it because of the psychology of the game. The psychology of Counter-Strike Go is that you don't know where your enemy is, but you can always, find him. You can take a look where he is, and that's enough for you to know. And the psychology of the game itself is that you have a screen where you have to look. So you're just going to go in. And you just have a strategy how you're going to take over this thing, and that's pretty much it. You have to shoot the best. You have to shoot the best, and you have to take him down. And you need to know, you need to think where he is, take a peek, throw the grenades accurately, and just take over a place, and the enemy has to, not the enemy, but the counter-terrorists, back off and see what they can do in their best ways in this situation, and always know where the enemy is coming from. But there's always there's never, okay, I'm just gonna leave it like that. That's the psychological part of the game, which you don't know where they are, but you will soon know, and they will run in. There's always a push going on in Counter-Strike, because you can't. you can't play the game without going in at some point. In Dota you can. In Dota you can chill out for a long while and stuff, and things can change all the time. So that's Counter-Strike for you. For StarCraft, there are much more psychological things in a way. Also, the fog of war. You know, that's pretty much the psychological part. The things that you don't know about. Oh, you want? Hey.
Oh, I can start the forehead.
Yeah, later. Hey, nice job.
Who are we the next one?
No, we play right.
What?
Who are you playing? Okay. StarCraft. It has the elements of surprise and the elements of which you don't know what's going to surprise you. So many times you see in StarCraft that there's a lot of probes going on. You know, checking out either checking out the whole map. You'll see a lot of times scans going in various places. New player that will watch StarCraft and say, "Why did he scan there? There's nothing there," and stuff. You know, of course there might be something there. They might have, and that's the part of StarCraft, that you never know when this dropship is going to come and destroy all your drones. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's your surprise. You're always scouting, and when you scout something, you already necessarily think, oh, he's going to do that, and maybe he's not doing that. Maybe he's juking you. Maybe he's thinking of a completely different thing. He makes you think that he's going to do that, and he's going to do something completely else, and he has like a proxy somewhere and stuff. That's why sometimes when a person scouts and he sees nothing, he gets super scared. You know, he instantly you can watch a player if he plays this game, and you see the webcam, and he just scouts the guy's base and sees there's nothing there. He'll be like. He'll be crazy. He will start moving stuff, and instantly they're finding out what's going on in this map. And these things are scary. And when you're taking a fight, and there are things coming into your base you didn't expect, or you did expect but not now, or you weren't ready for it necessarily, that's the psychological part of StarCraft. But in Dota 2, it starts right away and never ends. In the meaning of the game changes through psychology so much. And I can give you an example. There's a hero middle and there's a hero middle. Two heroes fighting against each other. Total psychological madness going on. One guy is starting to hit you like he doesn't care. He's like, oh. And the other guy is like, oh my god, he's hitting you. Hey, somebody's coming, right? But nobody's coming, right? So this can happen. This guy can be scared just because you're hitting him for no reason. Because he can see that you're losing the battle. But he's like wondering, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? You're gonna die. Something's going on. So he backs off. He backs off for no reason. But instead, let's say like this. When you're doing that and you're losing the battle and he's going to start fighting you back and not backing up, then you're thinking like, oh, actually he knows what he's doing and maybe somebody's going to kill me instead, so this is like juke by him and everything. Like he tried to juke him and that guy is juking him instead, so but he doesn't know anything what's going on, and the other guy understands maybe the situation, maybe he saw where the supports were, maybe he saw everything was going on, so he's backing up. And there are many situations where, let's say, the mid laner is just backing off, just goes away, you know. And the guy who's standing middle is like, he's gonna do this straight away. He's missing, he stopped, he's everything, blah blah. But he could just stand there. He could just stand right there where he doesn't see him. But you already hear everybody saying that he's gone, he's doing that. And sometimes he also backs off. The guy that stayed middle and the other guy backs off. He also is like, wait, if he just backed off, oh, they might have smoke ganked, they might kill me, so I'm gonna back off too, you know. That's huge psychology. It changes the whole lane already. And that's how it's played all the time, you know. The other guy is always last hitting, and every last hit is something that you're trying to make another person do. It's always going to be, am I going to deny this, or I'm going to take the creep, or I'm going to hit you instead. It's always a choice that you have to make. There's always three choices that you constantly have to make and think how you're going to get ganked or what is going on, and this always constant. It never stops. It starts from there and it never stops. And the fog of war in Dota is huge because there's so many ways to go from, because in Counter-Strike, it's pretty obvious. There are pretty much like either 3 or 4 ways that you can go for, maybe sometimes 5. In Dota, there are various ways. I don't know how to count the numbers, but I'll pretty much say like 15, let's say like that. And there are, it's like this, that in Counter-Strike, you must go at some point. In StarCraft, there's most of the time there's a time limit of you doing something, because you're not, there's always a person that is trying to get forward in some upgrades or get some expansions faster, so they must, you know, give aggression all the time to make it to make things efficient what he's trying to do. So he must always go for it. But in Dota, there's always a situation where you can just stay in the fog far, and people are going to think that you're going to go after them. And if you combine those things all the time, you're going to have Dota. And it's very arcane.
That is a phenomenal analysis. I couldn't have actually said it better. I'm actually going to go ahead and make this a separate video and just go put it down. The comparisons between the psychology of Dota, StarCraft, Counter-Strike. Phenomenal.
There's much more of it, and I don't necessarily remember all the things that I thought. And giving an interview like that is always a hard thing for me to remember all this.
Maybe we can plan this. I think this would be a phenomenal discussion between, I can try and get a couple of people from StarCraft and from Counter-Strike. This would be a great Skype chat.
Probably, yeah.
I can see if I can get out of this with someone. So,
Yeah, alright.
Cool. Talk to me about Dendy.
But he's a goofball.
He's a goofball. But
He's my goofball.
Yeah, I gotta say, you're like Laurel Hardy or just take any of those two characters, like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It's phenomenal. The guy, great chemistry. Did you know him all your life?
I've known him maybe 8 years. But yeah. 2 years in a team, maybe even 3, because I've been his teammate before Navi, actually. So yeah, let's say like 3 years. I know him personally 3 years, but 8 years I've known him as a person through Ventilo and Skype and playing together in some leagues.
Is the Dendy we see the real Dendy?
Yeah, there's nothing fake about him. He's like the biggest flamer. You know, he hates everybody when he plays against them, but he's super nice to you if you come to him. That's pretty much how he is, because, you know, he's a very emotional player. He's very emotional. So, mostly negative. Mostly negative. Positive, personally, very positive. He's like, I hate you. And it's a positive hate, you know?
I've never heard that. It's positive hate. I hate you. I love you. I love to hate you.
Yeah, he does love to hate people.
Good. But and this chemistry and as a technical player he plays with his heart. He plays with his mind.
Heart. No mind. No, he has something in his mind that are his ideas. They don't necessarily have to they don't have to work out all the time. He will still believe in them.
Okay, so since this is YouTube and we can go do this. All of you guys, snap quiz. How many times has he said necessarily, and how many times will he say necessarily?
You don't even know how to say the word. Necessarily? Not necessary. Necessarily.
All forms of that word. All forms of that word count. Okay, so the guy who gets the right one, I'll give you a signed plush from DOTA2. Cool. So yeah, I think he plays with his heart, and you said he has these ideas that are in his head.
Yeah. Punch. let's talk about punch a little bit.
This is phenomenal.
I like punch. I always like to hear all analysis. Like
you can't last all day.
If I would play Dendy 1v1 punch, I would probably only lose 50% of the games.
Okay.
I'm usually the only one that practices him solo mid. If anybody else, if he really wants to, nobody else will besides me. So I will do it, and I don't really lose to him. I usually end up 50% most of the time. But about Pudge is that I want him to work, and I like the idea of it, but it doesn't work all the time. You can lose so many games because of it. And try to keep him down, you know, and say, you know, so, and he actually starts understanding it sometimes now. He's not even, you know, saying I'll play Pudge anymore. He'll say like, you know, he'll make the excuse of, you know, if Puppey picks me, because he knows, you know, he knows that I know about everything. He's just gonna make it an excuse that he's like, well, if Puppey picks him, you know, because if he would be captain, he would say like, well, if I pick him, because he can't blame it on anybody else, you know, he can't make the excuse because he himself knows now that he doesn't work all the time, that he doesn't work all the time. And his idea is that it will work all the time. And I had to bang his head for a long while that it's not going to work all the time, and he agrees now, he agrees.
I think the only hero which works all the time is Nico.
It does. No, actually it does.
Really?
Yeah, it does. Meepo is one of the best heroes. It's just that he's just such a pain in the ass to figure out how to play him perfectly. Because let's say like that, if the enemy is countering your Meepo so well, you can also get some kind of a combination that will make it efficient for you to make your Meepo work. But it's not always that easy.
I don't think any hero currently in Dota is that hero you can say, I will pick this and always work, like 70% win rate. Is that, like, can you
70% win rate is doable, definitely. And
any specific heroes you pick on that?
oh, Names is pretty strong. Names works in every situation. What counters Names? Some kind of Naga Siren that nets him. You can infest out of this thing. You can buy linkage to whatever. You can do a lot of things. And there are many strong heroes in Dota that always keep on being useful. You can pick Bad Rider, and I'm going to tell you it's just going to be useful just by picking it. You're going to have to counter him with many heroes, or you know, pick this hero to counter him and do something like that. But that's already making the hero useful, because you know what you're going to play against. There's so many things, like Wisp. Wisp doesn't have to be used with CK all the time. You can use it with many heroes. You don't have to make it triple for no reason. Some people triple it by always picking one type of hero with it. You don't necessarily have to do it. Necessarily. And, you know, that's how it is. They're not. They're not counting.
Interesting. So 70% win rate is possible with some certain heroes.
Of course.
On the other hand, and I always like to ask this question, is there a hero you've never heard of pick? Like, it's kind of really broken currently?
That I would never pick. It's really bad. I'm a big fan of picking stuff. I can't really say I pick heroes all the time that are not used. I was thinking of Bloodseeker, but I want to use Bloodseeker, so I can't. No, I don't have. There's no hero that I don't really want to pick. I want to pick Meepo. I want to pick Bloodseeker, but there will become a time soon.
Probably moving into this, one of the ways we try inspiring a lot of people in India is to go ahead and say, you know, there's a lot of people who are still sitting on Dota 1, we're figuring out how to go ahead and get the game with them. It's one of the bigger problems here. So just imagine there's 10 guys sitting out there who says, okay, I used to play Dota 1, I was good at it, what I think I was good at it. I've got Dota 2 because someone said it to me, what do I do next? Like, and this is like coming from the best players. What do I do next? Should I just watch a game? Should I play a game? What do I do?
If you came from Dota 1 and you were good at it, then you can start playing Dota 2 right away. I don't think you should start watching or anything like that. Just you can take a practice game to just see how it goes. Mainly, I'm gonna give you the advice of doing a practice game and just starting out and just realizing where the HP bars are, where the items are, where everything pretty much is, where the shop is, and you know, look at it for at least 2 minutes. You can smoke some weed if you want or whatever you do, but you can take a look at it for a long while to understand what you really have to do, what you really have to look at, because that's the problem with Dota 1 players going into Dota 2, that they take it like, this sucks, man, it's the same thing, and it's pretty much, you know, of course it's not the same thing as number 2. You know, the first kid that you had with your, you know, wife and stuff is going to be different from the second one. It is. Can't do anything about it. Again, like, this guy's going to say it sucks. You can't do it.
Heard those.
Yeah. probably never seen that example anywhere, anything like that.
Not from a person your age, but yeah, carry on.
So pretty much take a look at where the HP bars are, take a look at how the hero moves and stuff, because all you need to do is look at the game and understand how everything moves. Everything else is in your head already. You already know about DOTA. So just take it like that. Take it like where the things are, what I have to click, what looks like what I know it looks, what items are different in a cosmetic way. You just have to memorize all those things again and just play the game again.
I think that's simple but really accurate advice. So, and since we're getting talking about team, and I'll go ahead and talk about team. You're Navi, right? You are the best team in the world, or at least considered the best team, especially in India, that we think you're wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, every one of you go ahead and say, you've got to hold my heart here. Everyone who loves Navi, down below, I'm going to send the link to him. You have to say you love Navi. If you love Navi, be honest. Tell him you love Navi. And all those people. Yeah. So, does that Navi recruit from amateurs, or are you, will you only go ahead and get really people who've been playing the game for ages?
Amateurs. Navi hasn't been that long of a team to even take amateurs. I think powerhouses that have been there for 10 years and stuff, they are doing those things. Navi itself does not have that kind of plan, probably not that big of an economy also, so no.
So how do you find a new person? And just because age, or people leave, people come, people go.
Sometimes it happens by luck. You just find a player that is doing really well and you're like, hey, pretty good. And then you start playing with them, and then you're going to say to them, hey, let's just play more. And most of the times they just find a team also, and not yours or anything, they just know, and you wish them the best luck, because what can you do? It's like, this is life, and you help them out, and of course you're very happy that he's going to do very well in some other team. And maybe he will join your team at some point when he gets better and stuff. So, but most of the time it's always a known person that joins the team that is not.
Probably one of the tougher questions. I've been asking this. A lot of people in India say, "Oh, I won't play this." What's your view on this? There's a lot of people
I won't play unless what?
Someone gives me money.
Oh.
So are you first Puppey, then Navi, and then your opinion on this entire thing? Should people play for the love of the game? Should people play for money? Should people play for fame? What do you play? What do you play?
I didn't play sponsored for a long while, so I played for the game for a long while. Let's say like that, when the money starts coming in, I do pressure people for the money, because it's my job. I understand that there's a situation where people are getting wealthy because of this, and when they're getting wealthy, and I'm part of it, I'm gonna have to, if I secure big parts of this fucking thing, I'm just gonna keep on doing it. Because if everybody else is getting wealthy, I should be also. It's not a situation or anything. It's just that you're gonna have to notice that you're a person too, and what you're doing is, if you realize that what you're doing is important, you're gonna have to, make yourself important. That's pretty much how any business works, and pretty much the thing that you can do it anywhere. It doesn't matter what you're playing, what you're doing, what business you're going to, what you're learning in your school to go for. It's just going to have to be important to yourself and proving. So I would just say that play with your heart, because I like the game a lot, still do. And I will play it even if I quit. Even if like my left arm gets chopped off, I'll still try to play the game. Probably. I will try.
I can see that.
I will probably do something like I will get my mouse and I will try to
Logitech has something like that.
Yeah.
That trackball thing with everything in one hand.
Everything in
one
one
house and it's got.
I'll probably train my leg or something like that.
Rain Man type, right?
Gonna do that stuff. Maybe have some pedals here and stuff. I don't know.
QWE.
I do enjoy the game, so I can't do anything I can't say anything about money. Although the competition itself means that you are playing for money. So when I was a kid, it was nice for me to win some tournaments for like say $300. $300 for a 14-year-old kid is a lot of money, and especially in Estonia, and especially 10 years ago. Because 10 years ago, you could do stuff with $300. Now you have McDonald's and Starbucks taking over, and you know, whatever, George Bush, Obama. I don't know who will blame people. So
300 is not 300.
300 is not 300. And I guess you could always think of fame, but in a different way. You gotta be humble about it. You gotta understand that people that look at how you play or whatever, they're people, they're not necessarily all good. There's also bad people that are doing watching your games that are your fans, so you gotta understand that life comes like that. And just learn from it, because a person that doesn't thank his fans is probably gonna feel it. He's gonna feel the karma coming in after years and stuff. So I don't necessarily advise you to not be thankful to your fans, because you should.
I think you mentioned, I think what we've been seeing is loads of fans are now, I think, if I ask you this question actually, you've seen so many people, do you think Navi's got the most rabid fans, or do you think someone else has, like, you've traveled across the world, IG, LGD, Alliance?
Alliance is a lot of fun. But yeah, we probably do have. I don't know the statistics. I don't know, but people do tend to tell me that we have the most fans. So okay, I'll take the information and stuff. I wouldn't care if I was to have less fans or not. But if they do tell me that we have the most fans, I gotta have to take care of that situation. So if I have most fans, I gotta have to give them all that they need. I'm gonna have to do the most work of all the people, so I'm gonna do it. I enjoy it, so why not?
I'm going to probably sign off. I think this is probably the longest sit-down interview I have done in my life. Thank you so much for this. Ending with one or two questions, and both of them are kind of fun, which is your fantasy. Like everyone, you know, DOTA, Ball's got I know it is, but Ball's got everyone doing it. Everyone does it. You must do it yourself.
Of course, I've done a fantasy team, and I was thinking about it for like a year. Yeah, I was thinking about 15 minutes, but that's a year, at least. Okay, let me play with S4. Let me play with Sylar. Let me play with... No. I want to play with Emerald Bulldog. Just to play with him. I don't know, and to see how it goes, you know, what's going to happen. Because I don't know all the players, because I don't talk to them, I don't get to talk to them, and maybe they're not that talkative in the first place. So I do enjoy playing with people that either have a really nice personality. I always think that's the most important thing about a player, not how they play. But sometimes one of the best players have a very good mentality, personality. Like I enjoy Burning a lot. He's a very nice person, very humble. He's been in the scene for like a billion years. He has been doing what I'm doing pretty much the same amount of time, but he has been in the biggest competitive matches. I've looked a lot at what he's doing, and you know, there's a lot of them. So how many did I know? 3 right now. So I need one more. One more.
Sylar, Burning.
No, I didn't say Burning. Burning's cool or not, but you know, it's not my fantasy anymore. It was my fantasy 2 years ago.
That just comes out.
I just had posters and everything, but not anymore.
No, I just said that came out wrong. He's not a fantasy.
He's not.
He's not his fantasy anymore. Yeah.
What are you talking about? I was talking about my fantasy.
Okay, so again, Sylar.
The Sylar Bulldog S4 and let's see, let me think. I like Mushi a lot, but not going to choose him. I like Ice 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 a lot, but not going to choose that drunk guy. It's a hard choice, you know. It took me a lot to think of how to choose that little bulldog in the first place. I just want to see how he does, you know.
I can help or mess this up. I don't know which one. You can even choose someone from the past.
From the past. Whoa. I don't know. I don't know if Steve Jobs would be that good.
Come on, he has to be a Dota player from the
Michael Jackson was pretty cool. I could choose Michael Jackson. You said someone from the past, you're gonna give it to me. You're gonna give it to me. What past? I don't know.
So someone who's retired.
GK. GK from Evo, a long time player. Yeah, that guy could pay.
And just since we're at it, not captain's mode, it's all pick. Just keep the characters.
GK, SF. Sylar, Anti-Mage. Bulldog, Lone Druid. No, not even a problem. Maybe Furion. Go like that. And S4 is last name's Magnuson. No joke. Gustav Magnusson. So I'm gonna get him Magnus. I think I can play this Chen hero pretty well.
You think?
He's pretty okay. He's pretty okay.
That's actually a great pick. And probably end this question with something which I've been thinking about today. So now, a lot of people who become famous in different spheres of life, sportsmen, politicians, some read newspapers all the time, some stop reading newspapers all the time. And newspapers for us in our industry aren't as casted and how people talk about, and we've got Young Summit, we've got DOTA. It's just, you've got a lot of people out there. Do you read? Do you actually think, do you value their comments? Do you, or do you think that's just one part of it, but you got to make it your own mind?
It's all connected at some point. I don't really know what to say because it's a very vague thought, to be honest. So I'm just going to say everything that they do matters a lot because they're part of everything we're doing here. And everybody who helps this community is welcome to do.
True, I'm going to rephrase that question. It's like, let's say you play a game.
Yeah.
And will you look at your own analysis first, or will you look at the analysis of these experts who are sitting outside?
What the hell do they know?
Thanks. That was my question.
No, I mean, it's the situation is simple. They don't know what's going in our heads. It's people that are judging from the panel or from, let's say, a family. They can only judge, but they don't know about the family. They don't know. Some people judge relationships, like let's say like that. It's like, what do you see in her? And you don't exactly. You don't know anything about what these two people have together and stuff. That's why you don't judge. And the expert panels must always note one thing: that they can't really judge players that much. They can judge them into some context, but they can't go over the context. They can't think like they would do better. Of course, they will think like that. They will make an excuse that, oh, he might have, and blah blah, and just stupid stuff. But overall, the inside thought of a person that is inside the game and doing the thoughts right there and playing the game itself, that guy's the expert, not the guy in the panel. The guy on the panel is the one that tries to be the expert. That's why he's not playing. That's why he's on the panel. It's hard to try to be an expert too, because trying to be an expert is explaining to people why he's doing that. And that's not easy to do. That is definitely not easy. So nobody's job is easy.
Do you think that's one of the future careers for you once you get out of DOTA? Like, a lot of people think in sports it's the easiest thing to do, right? Because you play with people and you get on the other side. Would you love doing it?
Maybe. I don't really know. I thought of doing it actually, and will probably do it at some point.
Do you do it yourself? Like sometimes like you have your own games and nobody can hear your games. I think it is one of those.
You don't do that? I do it every day. I do it in the bathroom too. Like, what I'm doing. No, I'm not. No, I only 19.
I love that. I love that about you. Thanks so much. This has been a pleasure. As always, guys, one of the most phenomenal people I know in gaming and one of the best. Thank you so much for being on Lordnod, and I'll see you next time.
See you next time.